So this is level 4 of Unit 8. I wanted to do some of these problems together. They're kind of difficult, so I wanted to show you how to do them. First thing we need to do is find the greatest common factor of 10z squared and 35z. When we're doing this, we want to separate the numbers from the variables. So the first thing we want to do is find the greatest common factor of 10 and 35. Now remember, to do this, I want to make a factor tree. And I'm looking for what they have in common, right? So each of them has a 5, which I'm going to put in the middle. And then 35 has a 7, and 10 has a 2. So my GCF here is going to be 5. Now I'm going to move over and I'm going to do z squared and I'm going to do z. I'm going to do a Venn diagram for this as well. Remember that z squared is really z times z. So I have 2 of them. Well, they each have one z in common, and then z squared has another one. So the GCF here would just be a z. So my GCF overall, I'm going to put those together, is going to be 5z. Okay? So again, the Venn diagrams can help. I always separate the numbers from the letters and then put them together for my answer. That seems to be the easiest way to do it. I suppose I could have combined the z's into the 10, the z squared into the 10, and then the z into the 35, but it seems easier to kind of keep it separate. Let's try another one. So here we want to find the greatest common factor of 30x plus 8 and 42x plus 8. I'm going to make a factor tree for 30 and for 42 to get us our factors here. So I've got 2, 3, 5, and I'm going to just put them all together into one Venn diagram while I am doing this, and we'll see how that goes. And then I'm going to make a factor tree for 42. I know that's 6 times 7. 6 is 2 and 3. All right. So it looks like I have a 2 and a 3 in common with my numbers. That leaves me a 5 and a 7 over here. I also have an x, and I have an x plus 8. That whole thing is one factor. But because I have an x plus 8 in both of them, I'm actually going to put that in the middle as my common factor. Now remember, my GCF is anything in this middle section where they intersect. So I'm looking just in here to find my GCF, and I'm just going to multiply it out. 2 times 3 is 6 times x plus 8. And I'm going to leave it at that. I don't need to distribute it or do anything like that. I'm just going to leave my GCF as 6 times x. Now we also want to be able to find the least common multiple. Remember, the least common multiple is all of the factors together in that Venn diagram. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to make my Venn diagram, and I'm going to figure out 66ST and 44T. I'm going to start with the letters because that's really easy. They each have a T, and then this one has an extra S. Okay. Now I'm going to make a factor tree for 66, which is 11 times 6. 6 is 2 and 3. And for 44, which is 4 times 11, 4 is 2 times 2. So what do these two factor trees have in common? Excuse me. Both of them have an 11, so I'm going to put that in the middle with the T. Both of them have a 2, so I'm going to put that in the middle. The 66 has an extra 3, and the 44 has an extra 2. Remember, if I was looking for GCF, that would be this middle portion. But because I'm looking for least common multiple, I'm going to multiply everything. So I'm going to multiply 3 times S times 11 times T times 2 times 2. So I'm multiplying each of the things that are in the Venn diagram. When I'm doing this, I'm going to start by multiplying all the numbers together. So 3 times 11 is 33, times 2 is 66, times 2 is 132. And then S times T is just ST. So the LCM is 132 ST. Okay? It's kind of complicated once you start throwing letters in there, but if you kind of use your Venn diagram the same way and just break it up, it makes sense to see it that way. And then remember, GCF is what's in the middle. LCM is all the terms multiplied together. Let's try another one. I'm going to make my Venn diagram again. Boy, I cannot draw a circle to save my life, can I? Good thing that I've never been asked to draw a circle to save my life. There we go. So my first one is going to be 8x plus 2. My second one is going to be 10x squared x plus 2. This is a typo. That's supposed to be a squared, not a 2. Okay, so I'm going to start with the x plus 2's because that one I can see very easily they have in common. This one is going to have an x squared, and 8 doesn't have any x's. Now let me quick make a factor tree for 8 and a factor tree for 10 so I can see what they have in common. Looks like they each have a 2, so that's going to go in the middle. Then 10 is going to have a 5, and this one is going to have a 2 and a 2. Now remember, LCM, I'm looking for all of them multiplied together. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times x plus 2 times x squared times 5. Now remember, we want to multiply all the numbers together. That does not include the 2 in parentheses. Leave this x plus 2 alone, okay? So you're multiplying the 5, the 2, the 2, the 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8 times 5 is 40. And then I'm going to leave that x plus 2 alone, and I'm just going to tack on the x squared. This is your LCM, okay? So you only have to do a couple problems on this one. I've done 4 of them for you, with you, hopefully. Write these down in your notes so that you have them for the test, and then go ahead and enter your answers into Mobius, and you should be good with level 4. Remember that our test is going to be tomorrow. Make sure that you have passed the benchmark for 1, because your test grade doesn't count. And for 2, make sure that your notes are in order and ready to go so that you can use them on the test, okay? Remember, when you come to the test, you need to be able to do this. So make sure that your notes are ready to go to help you.